Good morning, everybody. This is not Frank Morano. This is Mertavius Roberts. And listen, I know what everybody's thinking. They're saying, "Man, who lit Mert on the radio by himself?" Because you guys are used to me going. It's usually three on one or four on one. You got John, Frank, and JP all ganging up on me, and sometimes even Brian Zagan gang up on me. But you guys are used to it being three, four on one. But today it's Mert. I'm here all by myself. I got access to the airwaves. Frank is getting married. Frank is getting married. Frank is getting married. Congratulations to him. But his, hey, nobody made him do that. That's his grave he's digging. I told him, stay single for as long as you want to. You're about to become a big time star. You're just getting your foot in the door on the radio. The women are about to start coming out of nowhere. Maybe you should have waited till because he's about to become a big time star. Hopefully, he can remain faithful to his wife, but you know how weak us men are. You women out there, women are angels. Women are angels. That's why sometimes I look at some of these women getting married. I'm just like, how? Why would you do that to yourself? You know these men are dogs. But he created that mess. He has to deal with it. But that left an opportunity for Mert to come in and do his thing. Once again, this is Mertavius Roberts. You can hear me on the Cats Roundtable on Sundays, doing battle with John, Cats Matitas, and the rest of the crew. But today, let's get right into it. Let's talk about Afghanistan. Well, let me just say this. Let me just be completely honest. I don't know what the hell is going on in Afghanistan. I don't know what's going on over there. I remember a couple months ago they were talking about pulling the troops out, and now we're pulling the troops out, and all of a sudden it's a big problem. I don't know what the hell is going on in Afghanistan. And I have to say that out loud because I hear everybody on the air talking about it all day because I listen to talk radio all day. You don't understand. I watch all these news programs. I do all this reading, and I still don't know what the hell is going on because I read one thing and then I hear somebody say something else. I hear some people say we should be there, then I hear some people say we should have never been there. I hear some people say we shouldn't have got in the first place, but now that we're there, we need to stay there. I hear some people say we should have got out when Osama bin Laden was killed. This is a Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about this Afghanistan thing. It Listen, I'm gonna break it down like this because I gotta be honest. I'm gonna break it down like this, and please forgive me for not being a Mensa student or a Mensa member and having some 3 million IQ. But this is what this situation reminds me of. We've had Trump in office for 4 years. You know how easy Trump made it to go on the radio and just talk because he would comment on the simplest stuff. I like simple. I don't want things to be complicated. If I wanted to teach complicated stuff, I would have went to school to be a history teacher. History was one of my least favorite classes because I had to learn about stuff I didn't care about. But Trump was the perfect president for a talk radio host. You know why? Because he would talk about stuff that you didn't have to have some PhD in social science, and you didn't have to have a PhD in political science. You could just Anybody could talk about the stuff Trump would talk about because he was a common man. He's not a common man in terms of his private life, but his ideas were common. Build the wall. Listen, everybody knows I'm not the Trump guy on this station, but I don't hate Trump because I get the appeal. I get why a lot of people like him. I have people in my family who love Trump. But he kept things so simple. And now Biden never says anything. He's in the bunker. He's doing his job, and we get this. We get this Afghanistan thing, and all of a sudden, now I have to scramble because I've been thinking about uh, uh, election fraud. I've been thinking about Mike Lindell's symposium. I've been thinking about Kamala Harris, and they've been talking about Joe Biden having dementia. I've been thinking about everything else, and now all of a sudden I have to be an expert on Afghanistan. Well, I'm sorry, people. I can't do the impossible. I can't be everywhere at once. And a lot of you may be saying, well, Mertavius, you had time to prepare. Why didn't you prepare before you came on air? I was never good at taking a test or studying for a test the day before. That's the reason I got a lot of C's in history class. Every other class I didn't have to study because it was either or. But history, I mean, come on. This is just crazy that. But let's dive into it from my perspective. You know what I can latch on to though? You know what I can wrap my head around? Well, you got a big head, so you really got to do. Stop with the jokes. I know because I can hear my brother making that joke right now. Well, you got a big head, so it must take a lot to wrap. I can hear him making that joke right now. Stop it. But what I can wrap my mind around is the treatment of the women and children that is supposedly supposed to be taking place now that the Taliban has taken back over in Afghanistan. That's where it stops for me. That's where it stops. That's where it stops. And I'm gonna be honest, that's where it stops for me. I don't listen, I don't care if they were just taking over Afghanistan and it was a question of who's going to be in control and who's not, I could care less. But when they start talking about women women who paint their fingernails having their fingertips chopped off because that's against Sharia law, now I have a problem. When they talk about women must be in cover, must or not being allowed to travel without a male, or women not being allowed to go to school, then I have a problem. You know why I have a problem? Because women have done so much for me in my life. So much that I think it's the United States' duty to protect women everywhere. Because when you protect women, it makes the women at home here in this country feel appreciated. And I'm not saying that's why you do it. I'm saying we have a duty to women in America to protect women elsewhere. And let me tell you why. Especially a place like Afghanistan. We've been in Afghanistan since I was 8 years old. We've been over there that long. The women over there have been thriving. Well, let me correct myself because I don't know if that's true or not. But apparently they haven't been getting beheaded and whipped and beaten and all that stuff just for being women and wanting to learn and read a book. So apparently something's been going right for women. I'm not for sure, but that's what it's being made to seem like. And people are saying now that the Taliban are coming back, that's all going out the window. Well, if that's the case, and I don't want to be the ultimate juror on this. But if that's the case, and the fact that the United States is pulling out, it's going to lead to these women no longer having protection from the Taliban, who wants to impose the strictest, most harshest religious rules on these women. And I think we got to stay. I think either we have to stay over there, or, and this is what a lot of you on this station will definitely not agree with, we got to let them come over here. Any woman who wants to flee Afghanistan, any child with a mother who wants to flee Afghanistan, we have to let them come over here. Because we've provided for the last 20 years safety. We provided a harness. We provided a safe haven. We provided protection. We kept that rabid dog away. And now that we left, now that we opened up the gates and let the wild animals out, they're going to do what they want to do. They're going to tear stuff up. They're going to impose their rules, and they're going to come back. It's not going to look as harsh at first, but slowly over time, they're going to get their payback for the countless years of them not being able to impose their way of thinking. Because you got to remember, when you're dealing with religious mindsets, you're not dealing with people who can be bought off and paid off. And no, no, no. Individually, you might can pay off a few of them, but when you get to the bottom of it, these religious movements are tough to kill. They're tough to put out because religion does not have a rhyme or reason for why it operates the way it does. It just is. It just is. You don't question Allah. You don't question God in these cults in the United States. You don't question it. And if you question it, you may be put to death. If you question it, you might be a heretic. We see it throughout history. So what I'm sensing, and this is what, and I'm just letting everybody know, I'm not no expert on Afghanistan, but that ain't gonna stop me from talking about it because, quite frankly, I've been hearing a lot of people speak about it, and either you're reading your notes that you just taken 5 minutes before and you really don't understand what you're reading, but you're just reading something back to me, or you've been in the military, you've been over there, and you're explaining it in a way that the common person we can't latch on to it. So I need somebody who's been over there and deal with all these and know all the names and faces. You can come on with me and explain it, but any radio host who hasn't been in the military, who's just been sitting over here and for the last 4 years been talking about Trump and talking about Biden and all that, do not get on these airways and lie to the people. You're lying to the people when you say you know all about what's going on in Afghanistan. You know the very basics. You're just like me. You're just like me. Except I'm not going to lie. I'm going to tell the truth. But we got to take a quick commercial break. But when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about this and where I think this is heading. And we're going to talk about Cuomo. And we're going to talk about a few other things because I'm going to do things a little bit differently while I have the reins, while I have control. You see, they shouldn't have gave me control because I'm going to do things Mert's way. I'm going to do it Mertavius's way, to say my full name. You know, people like to get my full name. It's Mertavius. So we're going to do things my way today. But we'll be right back, and I want to say thank you once again to Frank. We'll be right back. This is his program right after these words.